Let's make a soul connection. Soul to soul connection. Heart to heart. Make us start with the soul connection. Soul connection.
Welcome to Sixth Sense and Beyond, opening the spiritual world to the world. And I'm your host, Christina Andrianopoulos.
And I'm psychic medium Katherine Glass.
And we have such an exciting show in the new year. And
Happy New
everybody,
Year.
Happy New Year, Happy New Year. And I hope you've set some visualizations and goals, right?
Yes, definitely.
I certainly have.
Yeah.
We have an exciting show today. Over the holidays, two parents got in touch with me, and they have a profound story to tell. And Dave Kane and Mrs. Kane, they had a terrible tragedy in their lives where their young son passed away in the Rhode Island Night Club fire in Warwick, Rhode Island. So
It's 2003, was it?
2003. So it's the 11th year anniversary of the passing of the fire is happening. And so it's not coincidental, as we all know, that he got in touch with me and we asked him to be on the show. And so their son Nicholas communicated with them, and he wrote a book, 41 Signs of Hope. And you're going to hear all about this, and I can't wait for us to get into the guests. So
yeah, it's
just
a great book.
Don't go away. This is a very exciting story.
Yeah.
And then also we have our on-air reading with Bev.
Yep.
And you're going to, you
Yep,
just
I'm
met
the
her
guest. I'm gonna
today.
meet her. Just met her today for a minute
Right.
before the show. Yeah.
Yep. So if you want to be on, you just write to us at readings@sixthsenseandbeyond.com, readings@sixthsenseandbeyond.com, and you can have a lovely Katherine Glass do an on-air reading. Be careful, a lot of information comes out though,
Yeah.
right?
I try to be
Right.
smooth about it, not too
And then-
revealing.
And then our show will also have our psychic challenge, so be ready, take a pen, whatever it takes for you to be able to help start
Yeah.
getting in tune with your intuition.
And then we'll do our psychic tips, right?
Our psychic tips, and you've got some really good
We're going to
information.
teach you how to work with relationship cords and how to clear those when you need to.
I love that because I love cuttings. You know, just like something that doesn't work, cut it and maybe start it all over or just
Yep.
get rid of it.
Heal it.
Right. But we couldn't do this without our sponsors. Thank you so much, Julio's Liquors. Spirit meets spirit. We love that, yes. And
And Healing Essence Center in Concord, Massachusetts. It's a holistic health center with lots of modalities for healing.
and for sure, we had Jonathan on and he did the acupuncture right here.
That's
live.
the healing center I own with my husband. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And then, of course, we look beautiful because of Christian Ray, and now he's with Akuri Moda in the fashionable west side of Worcester.
Wow.
Yeah, so great. Well, you know what? Let's go right into our story.
Yes,
and our
let's bring on
first guest,
Dave.
because it is a story. Okay. Hi, Dave.
Hi, how
Welcome
are you?
to our
Thank you for
show.
inviting me. This is great. I should tell who does my hair, but
Yes.
there's not much of it left, so we'll just leave it at that, I guess.
Well, it's so profound to have you here because you reached out. And again, we love that because a lot of our guests who are on do reach out and say, we'd like to be on your show.
Well, it was no coincidence. Also, we have a show that it's coming up, right?
Well, it's a show that just recently aired that it was another couple who lost their daughter 3 years ago in a tragic way, prematurely.
And right after we interviewed them and filmed it, it was still in the can, I think, and then he called.
And I just said, whoops, okay. But the
Amazing.
amazing thing here is that once you sent the book to us and we both started reading it, then we started getting these signs. So tell us, first of all, tell us a little bit about the story.
Well, our son Nicky was the youngest victim of the Station nightclub fire. He was 18. And beginning the day after he passed, we started to get signs. Now, Nicky is a writer, a composer, a singer, an actor, a comedian. He's a playwright. He wrote a play a year before he died called They Walk Among Us. And the play is about teenagers who die and come back as angels.
I just got chills.
It's an incredible story, and it's a great play. And we produced it for television. There's also a documentary called 41. And you can see the documentary at 41themovie.com. And it shows you Nicky from the time he's very little to moments before he passes. Nicky had a thing for the number 41. You get in the car with him, he'd say, Dad, look, it's 241. We'd say, a license plate. Dad, 41, 41. We never knew what it was. We couldn't figure it out. His oldest brother, Chris, tried to help him with numerology, etc. And we really didn't figure it. Then when Nicky passed, he was 18 and 23 days, 41. The Station nightclub is at latitude 41.41. The fire call box at the station is 4414. And on the cover of the book is a sketch of Nicky from a videotape we found a year after he passed. And in the videotape, his mom's holding him. He's about 4 months old. He has a baseball uniform on, and the number on the cap is 41.
Now, I know, that's amazing. First of all, those are not coincidental signs. Those are signs, especially for, because I have my lucky number. So when I want signs, mine's 18. I just see the 18. When I want signs, I see the 18. I want confirmations. So the number thing really, really, really.
It's very common for everybody to have a number of some kind of significance, but we haven't really realized how much of a significance this number can have in our lives if we pay attention
Obviously,
to it.
you did the numerology of Nikki's birthday.
We've done all of that stuff. Yes, exactly.
That's great.
And it's been amazing, and this is just continues. And as you know, you've been exposed to it now, and you've had your own experiences in the last couple of weeks, and it's just amazing how this has changed so much of our world, certainly. Wow. And friends and neighbors. And I did an interview online with Bob Olson.
Oh, great.
Bob.
Oh, yeah, I know Bob.
We just hit 30,000 hits on that interview. And I have been contacted from all over the world. People contacting me because believing that Nikki has brought their child through to
Absolutely.
them.
Nikki brought my mother through for me and my brother and my sister
that's
the night
great.
after I read the book. This boy is very strong spirit.
So
very
let's
strong.
show a couple of more pictures, and then we'll get into how how all the signs over the years.
Okay. So we show Nikki's picture.
Yeah,
Let you
Nikki's
see
picture
what a
was
beautiful
seen,
young man he is.
and then
and then there's another interesting, just an example of a story having to do with birthdays. Chris, the oldest boy, and Nikki were 10 years apart. Chris and Nikki were joined together at the heart, constantly together. They took care of each other. They loved each other. And Chris was obsessed with videotaping Nikki at every turn. He, in the yard, on stage, in the car, in the bathroom. Don't ask. and he would just get up, and so he was always videotaping. We have hours and hours of videotape, and now we know why, because a lot of it is turned up in 41, the documentary. But the year Nikki passed, it came to be Chris's birthday, and he wanted a new camera, a new video camera. So we're going to get him a Sony, because I'm a big spender. They're $10 more. And my wife said, no, we got to get a Samsung. I said, why? He just wants a Samsung. So we get a Samsung, and we're all on our way to Bugaboo Creek to have dinner. And we had the present in the bag. You know, the present. Those are great present bags. You don't have to wrap anything anymore.
I love those.
Just put it in the bag. Put toilet paper on top. It's nice. And so we're going to Bugaboo Creek, and Chris takes out the box. And I should tell you that every year when it was Chris's birthday, he'd let Nikki blow out his candles.
Oh.
So this year he's going to open the box, and he says to his mom, I guess this year I have to blow out my own candles.
This is in the book, I remember.
And he opens the box, and inside is a brochure from Samsung, and we can show that now because on the left side of your screen is a brochure of a little boy blowing out the candles on a birthday cake, and the picture on the right is Nikki.
Is an actual picture.
They're almost
Is an actual
That's amazing.
picture of Nikki at his birthday.
So he helped.
But they
blow out
look
the candles.
alike.
They're
It looks like it
identical.
could have been
My
Nikki.
wife thought that it was Nikki from a Disney cruise we'd been on, and she was convinced it was Nikki.
Fooled his own mother.
It took me 6 years to get Samsung to talk to me because they thought they had run a picture of Nick without our permission.
Yeah.
They were afraid we were going to sue them.
Wow.
So I finally got a hold of an executive at Samsung, and she said, I'm going to have the photographer call you. So the photographer called me about a week later on a Tuesday morning at 11:41. And told me that this is not your son. We shot this stuff in San Diego. I'm going to send you all the pictures from the shoot so you'll know. Aww. He sent us all the pictures, and in none of the other pictures does the boy look anywhere near as much like Nikki as he does in the birthday picture.
This is great. Now we're talking to David Kane, who's an author, he's a radio host, and a parent who had a tragedy in his life, losing your 18-year-old son at the time.
Can I talk about losing? You know,
Beautiful
we
young
say
man.
lost.
That's a good thing.
I hate this word lost, and we haven't come up with a word to replace it.
Loving.
Mediums say, I have a client who lost their daughter, lost their son. You know, Bob Carr-Goldthwait used to have his stand-up comedian.
Into spirit. He moved to spirit.
Sure, and he says in his act, he says, I lost my job. He said, well, I didn't lose my job. I know where it is. Just when I go there, somebody else is doing it. And then later on, he says, I lost my girl. He said, well, I didn't lose her. I know where she is. But just when I go there, somebody else is, well, never mind. So the point is that if you lost your keys, would you look for them?
Yes.
And so if you've lost your child, or you lost your loved one, or you've lost your parent, why aren't you looking for them? Why aren't you open to this? Why aren't you talking to them? Why are you letting them go? They haven't left us. We have turned our back.
And you're proof positive of that. Now, Katherine, so Katherine knows this because it's her talent and her gift, that when a soul passes, they're still there. There's never a death, is what you believe.
They just shift dimensions. So they're here living and they're thriving and they're having a life. They're not just hanging around staring at you, but they're living on and they're still with us. And as you know, and your book proves, and it's
there's no doubt. I mean, we have absolute evidence. Matter of fact, there's evidence we can show that now. I guess of the picture. 2.5 years after Nikki passed, we decided to go to New Hampshire to celebrate Thanksgiving up there, and we have a relative who won't put down the camera. You know, last time we went to Disney
one in every
World,
family.
he took 1,100 pictures the last time we went to Disney World, and so he's in the room and he took pictures of us that they can show now. And in the picture you can see me laying on the bed and our niece taking her coat off. And on the right on the picture is my wife looking at the camera, and behind my wife you can see shoulders wearing a sweater.
You're right.
And at the bottom you can see a pair of black pants.
unbelievable.
There was nobody that we could see standing behind Joanne when that picture was taken, but of course that figure is the size and height and weight of Nikki.
That's wonderful.
So he
Staying very
joined us for
close.
Thanksgiving.
And then
Yes.
in your book 41 Signs of Hope was such a wonderful read, so everybody can still go on Amazon or Barnes & Noble and
They
purchase
can, or
it.
they can go to my website, davekane.net, and buy it right through.
Buy it from there.
Yep.
It was such a profound book, easy to read, and what it did for me was open me up. So I started having some profound dreams too of loved ones and
I've been seeing the 41s, 11:41 on the clock, 1114. Today is 1:14:14.
Today is the
Yes.
14th.
I left a message for my sister today on the phone to tell her about Nikki, and the time I logged the call, she logged, it was 1114.
Well, when we arrived today and had to sign in,
It's
it was
unbelievable.
1:41.
141. So yeah,
And
that's
so
great.
and so it doesn't
Such a
stop.
strong communicator. He's so able.
And we need to open up to that. We need to
We
be.
do.
We just need to acknowledge it. I
right.
think people are afraid that it isn't true. That's the nervousness.
Now,
of it.
this is another exciting thing. He has an EVP, right? that
Well,
can
yes, we're
listen
going to
to?
show we're going to hear the EVP. Why don't you explain what an EVP? And so let me just bring this up to
Jumping on my
11
seat.
years. So the communications have evolved over 11 years, right?
Well, they've continued, and he's done more. There's all weird ways that it's all connected. I mean, we could do 2-3 shows easy on the
Synchronicity,
way that they have done it.
synchronicity.
It's not just as simple as. We do get the simple ones, finding a penny or a feather or a song like you've gotten, but there's other things, and after you realize, you go, my God, this kid did all this.
Yeah.
He brings
this
people
point.
together in spirit to families who don't even know each other.
Yes.
I mean,
That is
that's
great.
this is an angelic kind of
Yeah,
job
he brought
he's
this
doing.
EVP you're going to talk about.
Yeah, so
was
EVP
from a
go
woman
ahead.
in Southern California.
Sent to him.
Yeah.
So an EVP is electronic voice phenomena. You leave a recorder running, usually with some white noise in the background is ideal, and if you leave it running in the room, you'll pick up things, hopefully, on the tape. So an electronic voice phenomena is an example of spirit communicating through an electronic device. And Dave has a very solid example of that, and it wasn't even his recording device.
No, a woman
Tell the story.
contacted me after reading about Nikki and wrote to me from Southern California and said to me, your son is sending me EVPs.
Wow.
I'm not
And like I
surprised.
told Catherine, when I heard that, I went, Nutburger, here we
Yeah.
go. I got some woman, doesn't know us, doesn't know.
Right.
Sure, she's getting EVPs from Nikki, right. And then she sent it to us, and you're going to hear, I guess we're going to try to do this with the director.
Okay, so-
we're going to just play, he's saying.
Okay, what is he saying?
He's
Now,
saying-
everybody just stay
Yeah.
tuned, put down your pencil,
Yeah.
and just listen to this, because it is a phenomena.
Yeah, he's
So-
saying, Mom and Dad, this is Nick.
And he says it really
Mom
fast.
and Dad, Mom and Dad, this is Nick.
Mom and Dad, this is Nick. That's
Right.
kind of the
Mom and Dad.
inflection.
Okay, so let's
Yeah.
try it.
All right, so
Okay? Let's do it one more time.
Oh, I chill.
what
Do
I'd
it
like to
one
do
more
is do
time.
it a few times, because it took
Yeah.
me a little while to
Yeah.
get it.
All right,
So
let's try it
Do it again.
Okay, we did it a few
Yep.
times, and it's fast. I know. It's
I
amazing.
can totally feel
Yeah.
it.
Well,
I know.
the thing is about this too that this is Nikki's voice. We have reams of videotape and audio, and it's Nikki's voice.
He's amazing. He's a real blessing
We
to all of
hate
us.
to have to close this segment, but we're going to. And one of the ways we're going to ask you to help us is we always do the psychic challenge. But before
Have
we
to
go
do
into
it,
the
Dave.
psychic challenge,
And I didn't
thank
get you anything. I'm saying.
Thank you. You gave us a story and you shared
Thank
this
you. Thank
beautiful, beautiful experience that
And
you're
make
having.
sure you get this book, 41 Signs of Hope, on Amazon or at davekane.com.
DaveKane.net.
.net. Okay.
Okay, and
Yep.
thank you so much for
Thank
reaching
you.
out.
And thank you, Nick.
Nikki, thank you, thank you. So
here,
thank
he's
you,
right
and keep getting in touch with us.
Okay.
So anyway, we have the psychic challenge right here. We do it at the end of every show. If you would just bring it a little bit closer. Okay,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Kane, Dave is holding the carousel. And there's a significance there, and I will tell you later. And then Katherine has the birdhouse. And then I have this beautiful sun and moon
Yep, made in Italy, I think.
motif, yes. And so Katherine has picked one of these two. I don't even know, Dave doesn't even know what it is. So let's just tune in right now for a few minutes and see which one she picked.
Can everybody make their guess, right?
Yes, and then when we come back the next segment, you'll be able to see if you picked it. You'll also have a few seconds to see if you didn't get a chance to pick it, if you picked it or you want to change your mind, and then you'll go over that.
Yeah.
And anyway, and so Dave, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Carousels are so important to Nikki too, and that called me in my house before I
That
left.
was Nick. He arranged the carousel as one of the
did.
psychic challenges.
That's out of my house, so great.
thank
Dave,
you.
thank you so much. We'll have you back again. We
I
look
hope so.
forward to
Thank you.
talking to you again.
Thank you so much, Dave.
And we'll be right back.
Uncle Wayne.
A soul connection, soul to soul connection.
And welcome back to Sixth Sense and Beyond. This is the segment of the show where I'm going to give an intuitive psychic reading to a lucky volunteer. And we're lucky to have you. Bev, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much, and I'm delighted to be here,
Yeah.
inspired by your work, Katherine.
Thank you so much. It's a delight to have you, and you're wearing these fabulous bright colors, and you're like jumping out of your seat with excitement. It's contagious.
Had
It's great.
to do something in the rainy weather.
Yes, no, it's wonderful. And actually, I'm just going to jump right in and read you. We've talked a little bit about what you wanted me to look at, and why don't you say one thing about what you wanted me to look at before I launch into everything I want to say?
Okay, after watching the program for a while, you begin to do some self-introspection, and in doing so, I have found that, gee, there's many times when I think, I knew that was going to happen, or don't go there, saying that to someone else, because there might be a danger lurking. And what I want to really know is, how does one know if indeed they do have a sixth sense, if you will, or a psychic predisposition? I hear a lot in the media that, oh, everyone's a medium or everyone has that sense. So where do you draw the line, and how do you really know?
Okay. So your question is a little intellectual, and I'll try to come at it from an intuitive perspective regarding you personally, okay?
Great.
First of all, you're an incredibly creative person. You know, the bright colors and the way you dress, and it's a sign of creativity right off the bat. You express yourself beautifully on camera. You came alive. This is one of the aspects of an intuitive person, for sure. Most intuitive people you meet, psychic people, you'll find that they're very creative. They're usually artists, singers, creators of some kind. So that's already there. So that's just sort of an affirmation for you, Bev. When I met you over there before we came on here and I saw your face, I heard strega, nonna strega.
Nonna strega.
And then you're Italian, right?
I am indeed.
So I feel this is a past life connection for you, that you have had past incarnations as a witch, a practicing healing medicine woman. And that's just, if that's confirmation for you from spirit, great. How does one know? By your life experience, you know, just like you said, I said, I knew that. And many people have intuition. We all have intuition. Some people feel a calling or a passion to explore that, metaphysical, occult, you know, the world of spirit, all of it. And it is something very natural and inborn to all of us. That's true. The difference of pursuing it, especially in the modern world, over the centuries, it's been, you know, you've been punished for it, you've been persecuted. Now it's getting better. It's still more accepted, although it's still a little edgy in some arenas. People think it's, you know, hokey or whatever, or dangerous.
But at least you can talk about it.
You can talk about it. You can come out and say, I am a psychic, I'm a medium, I'm a healer, and you're not burned at the stake anymore. So So the difference between a person who chooses not to develop and a person who's called to do it is that the person feeling called to do it cannot help but follow that calling or that passion. It's almost like it does you. And so you always have a choice. And I feel for you personally, as I'm trying to read for you, it's specifically at this time in your life that it's coming on strong, that it's no accident that you're here, that you saw the show, that you decided to come on and actually put yourself here in the public eye.
Talk about it.
Because there's a real excitement and fervor in you about it. And even you told me when you met our guest sitting over there on the couch, she said, "Are you a sensitive?" So
Yes.
she was reading your auric field. So your answer is yes, Bev. You definitely have an intuitive, stronger than average sense. And I would recommend you find a class or a training to start developing it. And you can start developing it at home on your own. The key is meditation. You need to sit quiet with spirit. Your grandmother on your mother's side, her lineage had this ability as well. You come by it honestly. And you'll find that you'll be very quickly learning and accelerating your ability to know things, to hear things. You sit with, when you sit in meditation, have a pad and a pen next to you and write down any sentences, words that you hear, images that you see. Tell your spirit guides that you're open to start receiving information, whatever it may be. Don't question it, just write it down. Then when you go back and review it, you will see how it makes sense or fits into your next steps. I have some recommendations for you for classes that I'll say to you off air. I'll give you some links and stuff like that.
Excellent. I really appreciate it. And in doing so, I guess I'll call upon the angels to guide me
Yes,
too.
and
That
yes,
was another
you
thing.
saw them as children, didn't you?
Yes, yes.
You used to see them in church, and probably one of your grandmothers said, "Don't, no, we don't talk about that." They shut you up, right?
Well, it wasn't
It
the
wasn't
thing
a thing to do in Catholic Church. Well, thank you for coming. I'm
Thank
sorry
you
it was
so
so
much.
rushed, but
That's okay.
it's
My
great to meet you, and I
pleasure.
have lots of information to
And
help
I
you.
look forward to the classes.
Okay.
Thank you, Catherine.
You're welcome, Bev. And we'll be right back.
Let's make a soul connection. Soul to soul connection.
Welcome back, and now we're here with our Psychic Challenge, our third segment, and we're going to go straight into psychic tips. Catherine has some great things for us. Now, it was either the carousel, this beautiful sun and moon, or the birdhouse. Now, if you all picked the sun and moon, you were in tuned, and keep watching and you'll get better, and maybe next time you'll get it right too.
Okay.
All right, so psychic tips.
When you're in a situation in your life and you're having a hard time with a relationship in particular, be it from the past, the present of your life, parental, sibling, boss, anyone in your life that's been a challenge for you, painful, wounds, whatever it is, there's a way that you can really heal that relationship with a meditation or energetic approach, and I call it cutting cords. And what you do, or actually healing them, is you get in a very relaxed state and try to take some nice deep breaths and visualize that person standing in front of you.
So we can actually do this right now.
Yeah, sure.
As you're doing, okay.
Yep.
Pick somebody that you don't like.
Yeah, or that you're having a hard time with.
Right.
It can be an intense relationship or
Right.
peripheral. Put that person in front of you in your mind's eye, see them standing there, and then imagine a doorway of light between you with no door in it, just an archway of light. And then you ask Archangel Michael, you can use, or any high ascended master or angel to come. I like to use Archangel Michael. You call on Archangel Michael to ask to borrow his sword, and you take his sword with one of your hands and you simply cut through the cords between you of, you can never cut cords of karmic relationship with another person, but you can cut through the gunk that has accumulated psychically in that relationship. The negativity, the judgment, the criticism, the pain, the abandonment, whatever that is. And when you see Archangel Michael's sword cutting through that cord of energy, you're actually clearing that psychic attachment connection that's not healthy, that feels bad. And when you do that, you release the energy of the cords and you say, I am free and you are free. I forgive you for not knowing at the time better and how to relate with me. You don't have to forgive them for what they did to you, because that takes time to forgive,
Right.
but you can forgive the pain of the relationship and you can forgive the lack of better understanding. And it really, you will feel a lightness happen. And then you
That's
thank
great.
Archangel Michael and you give him his sword back.
And you can do this as frequently as you want, right? You know, you
Absolutely.
can do it with as many people as you want, because you're just sort of cutting through that negative, mucky stuff that you said.
Yep, it's a
And
very quick
sometimes we feel powerless. We feel like, oh, I can't do anything about that, and I'm just feeling like really not good. But
Right.
this is a good proactive way to
It
just
is,
cut
and
back.
when you call on higher energies, they show up. They really do. They're here
do,
to help us.
As we know, with our first guest, Nicholas. Thank you, Nicholas. Well, besides Nicholas, we have to thank our wonderful guest, Dave Kane, for
Yes.
being here, and
Bev.
Bev for being a great volunteer.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for watching our show, Bev, and for everybody else. And if you'd like to have an on-air reading, readings at sixthsenseandbeyond.com, readings at sixthsenseandbeyond.com, and look for our advertisements for our next psychic gallery coming up
yeah.
this March.
That's right.
Yep, and also our sponsors, Christian Ray, thank you, from Now, Akuri Moda, and Julio's Liquors, Spirit Meets Spirit.
And Healing Essence Center, Holistic Health and Healing.
Who heals you after you've had too much to drink. No, for other things too. Thank you so much, and we hope you have a great time. And when you see us out and about, stop and talk to us.
Yeah, say hi.
We love it, all right?
Thanks for watching.
Have a loving, loving time.
Let's make a soul connection.